So I'll go back to the nav console, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we got a little more situational awareness. But we're going to back straight away. And the game is a little weird about how you dock with things. Like, no matter what you do, you're always facing the ship regardless of the orientation of the ship. So, like, no matter which direction the ship flies, you're always pointed towards it with the dock. So by backing up, you're immediately headed in the direction you want to be headed in. So we're just going to go to the next closest wreck, and we're going to follow the same procedure as last time, get our bearing down to as close to 0 as we can get it, and we'll reduce our cross velocity, and then we will power towards. And because we're so close, I'm only going to bring us up to a little over 100 meters per second. It shouldn't take us very long to get there. Yeah, already we're about 100 seconds, so we'll just go ahead and fast forward through that. And there's our 5-kilometer prox warning. And here you can see we're a little bit further away, so I've actually got time to adjust my heading. There is cross velocity here. What is our cross? It's pretty low, and our bearing is good. You'll see that the relative velocity, the VREL, at the very top is blinking. That's to let us know that we're moving faster than 100 meters per second. Obviously, you see there, once I bring it down under 100 meters per second, then it goes back to blue. So you want to line this up as best we can, and try to keep it centered as we roll up on the ship here, and as soon as it turns green, you see I've already got my mouse over the button, and as soon as it turns green, I'm going to hit it. So there we go, we're docked with our next derelicts, and we're going to get out of the airface here and see what we've gotten ourselves into. So first things first, let's get back into our chargers, and we're going to grab batteries for our tools. And they're all fully charged now, which is outstanding. And we're going to put them back where they go. So now all of our tools are ready to go. We're going to slap that helmet back on, and let's see what we've gotten ourselves into this time. Oh, that's right. We need to turn on the light. Can't forget about that. And it looks like we've got ourselves a much larger ship this time around. You'll see this, like, air effect is just oxygen and other gases escaping from holes in the ship, which is a good way to tell, like, if you have a leak, follow those little gaseous clouds and it will help you find where the leak is. So this ship, well, I said it was larger. It's not a whole lot larger, but we do have some bends here, so it's worth checking those. A lot of floor panels in there. We do have some steel, which I'm not particularly worried about. We got a drink pouch. I don't know how I feel about potentially drinking water out of a pouch that's been sitting on a derelict ship for who knows how long. But it is what it is. And let's see, we've got another air pump. We've got 4 tiles. Wait, what? Hold up. Jillian Roman. Is that person? Is there a den person outside this ship? Or maybe a live person? Or is that just the ship itself? I guess this is the name of the ship. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, there's not a whole lot here that we can actually use. There's a bin here. I guess we can check and see what's in there. Another floor tile. So yeah, not a whole lot here. This is kind of a bust. One thing I will check is this oxygen tank, and it does not actually, well, it's got a decent amount of oxygen in it, so I'm going to go ahead and uninstall this oxygen tank. Hello, I will probably stream some more BTA in the future. Today I just felt like doing something a little bit different, but don't worry, I haven't given up on the campaign. We will go back. Well, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and uninstall this oxygen tank, if for no other reason than so we have a backup supply of oxygen, just in case we run out. And yeah, we're starting to get mild hypercapnia, as you do. So let's pick up this. I am not on the BTA Discord. I'm not a big Discord person, if I'm being perfectly honest. Like, I do use it, and I am in some Discord channels, but by and large, I typically don't interact with many people on Discord. It's just a personal preference. There we go. We got an oxygen tank, and I see something sparking on the other side of our control station, but I can't get to it. Unfortunately, the control station is a little bit weird that way. You can't actually get through it. You have to go around it. So yeah, this wreck was kind of a bust. Right now it's purchase only. At least I don't think you can build an EVA suit. You can find them in derelicts and repair them, but you can't build one from scratch. Okay, well, I'll keep it in mind, and I'll definitely look into it. I assume that the Discord is linked somewhere on the main page for the mod. If so, I may give them a holler, so that way you guys can keep up with me the next time I stream it. Oh, right. Sorry. Gotta do our pushback clearance even from a derelict. And we'll go back to the nav controls. And we'll do pretty much the same thing we've been doing. So we're gonna move from wreck to wreck. And hopefully find something good here. It's gonna give us some cross velocity. We need to clear this ship because I'm gonna go this direction. We obviously can't go through it. Yeah, you can go ahead and put the Discord link in chat. I don't think it'll bop you for that. Alright, so now we'll bring our cross down. And move up. Oh, I think it did bop you. Also, I don't understand. Well, now I have a different problem. I just realized I'm not logged in as an admin, so I can't, I had to log out of Streamlabs and log back in right before the stream, so I don't actually have my admin set up right now in the chat box, so tell you what, give me just a second. I need to fix that. Why are you not giving me the opportunity to... Well, that's... Pope? Yeah, Streamlabs is being dumb right now, and it's not actually giving me the ability to get back into admin mode. But that's okay. The bot is being dumb, well, so I apologize for that. That's also kind of my bad for not having logged back into to admin mode before I got into the stream, so my fault. But that's okay. Like I said, I would assume that the Discord link is on the wiki, so I'll check it out there. So no worries. Alright, let's see. Where were we? We were... blasting full speed ahead. Let's go with the name. I like hearing the names of these ships. Alright, no worries. I'll check it out. Hey, right. We got our bearings. I'll fast forward a little bit. Oh my. Our cross is going a little wonky there. So for those of you that were here for the Rings of Saturn streams, this game does a very similar thing. where when you're in motion, it will kind of show you a projected trajectory of your ship at speed. And that's what we were seeing there with the little arrows, and that's kind of what let me know that the cross was off, because we were going to overshoot this this wreck here. But we will slowly drift in. Our alignment is good. And there we go. We are done. Okay. Well, apparently this is the first ship that the game is actually considering a ship, because it's giving us the first derelict message after we've already been to 2 other derelicts. So I think that's a bug where the game just didn't... Hey, what are you doing? Oh, do we finally have the parts? Oh, no. Okay, hold up. Hold up. So we're having a little bit of an issue here. So effectively what's happening, and this is one of the weird little things that you have to deal with when you're playing Ostranauts. If you have a task, like I told our character to repair this battery a while ago, and until just now, we didn't have the parts to repair the battery. But apparently on this ship, whatever it is, there are the parts that we need to repair the battery, and so the first thing our character is trying to do is automatically go grab those parts without a freaking helmet on. So, again, early access, it is one of the weird little things about this game. You do have to be a little bit careful or your characters will do dumb things and get themselves killed. Oh, there we go. And that's one of those parts, yeah. So we needed a motherboard. We now have a motherboard. Let's see what else we've got. Okay, so we've got some oxygen canisters. So oxygen canisters go into EVA suits. And so those are going to be, if for nothing else, they'll be good for money. I'll go ahead and grab the O2 bottles. I'm also going to grab these patch kits, which the Holden patch, that's a little Expanse reference for you Expanse nerds. Yeah, it's what I call Sims behavior. It's a little annoying, but once you know what's going on, it can sometimes be disconcerting. You're like, oh my god, what is the character doing? Why are you doing that? You get used to it after a while, though. But these oxygen bottles, I'm gonna hopefully restore them. At some point, you can see they're in very low condition, but they have a lot of oxygen in them, so they'll be very useful once we have an EVA suit. In the meantime, we do have the motherboard to fix the battery, but let's go ahead and head back in here, because we didn't really even begin to explore. So the patches you can use for, you know, if we get a hole in the ship, I can just slap a patch on it, and that'll be good enough to get us back to port without dying. So that's why I like having the patches. It's a good emergency measure. So it looks like another relatively small ship. That's okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened to the front end of the ship here, but it's not pretty, that's for sure. Let's see. I'm gonna grab some mechanical parts, but the rest is just floor panels. Yeah. So again, kind of a bust. Not a whole lot out here. At least not a whole lot that's useful anyway. Got some electronic parts, more patches. Oh, we get a pill bottle. Is there anything in it? Hey, there's some antibiotics in there. That's good. We can sell those for money. We got a little bit of food. That's good to have. Don't see much else that we could use. Might be something now. I don't have a problem with Metroid, but I haven't played a Metroid since the GameCube days, I think is the last time I played a Metroid game, so it has been quite some time for me since the last time I played a Metroid. But yeah, I happen to think that Samus is one of the greatest girl bosses in gaming history. And, you know, it doesn't hurt that the games are actually usually pretty good. Alright, so back on board the ship. I'm not gonna turn the light off on this one. But yeah, so we're gonna add this to the pile of crap that we're collecting here. I don't think we need the drink pouch just yet. I'm gonna drop the PDA as well. We've got it, I just don't need it right this second. Yeah, I think we're in good shape here. So again, not really finding anything super valuable yet, and this can sometimes happen where you bounce around to a bunch of different derelicts. I mean, I don't have a problem with 3D or 2D. I mean, I'm playing a 2D game now, effectively. I mean, if you were watching me on the X-Bird, you saw the thing that I reposted from What's-His-Face, so yes, I do like Samus. But yeah, you will sometimes do this where you bounce around to many derelicts and don't really find anything worth having for a while. And that's just the nature of the game. Also, it doesn't help that we are very close to the station, and that has the added effect of most of the stuff already being looted by other people. So I think we're gonna go for this wreck next. Again, same story. We're gonna adjust bearing. We got a lot of cross velocity, so let's bleed that down. And I don't know why our bearing is going crazy like that. There we go. And yeah, same old story. Drink water. Drink water. I drink water all the time. I have water right now, but I will hydrate. That's a good idea. Thank you for the tip. It is sometimes difficult when you stream to remember to do things like drinking water. So we're a little bit off. And our cross is going a little wonky here. Trying to clear the warning, go to the dock. Oops, again. We want to docking, accept, and yet we're going the wrong way. Woo! Okay, so this is what happens when you hot dog a little bit and you come out a little too fast. And I'm currently spinning out of control here, which I need to get under control. So I need to get our cross under control first of all. That's the first thing. And now I need to... Oh, we might... Yep, we bumped. Ugh. So yeah, that's the problem when you get a little too antsy and you go a little bit too fast. Sometimes you do the dumb. But that's okay. We're not dead, and that's the important thing. So we're gonna ease it on in. There we go. And let's see, what are we... I can't really... What is that? Singing Candle? Is that the name of this ship? I can't really tell. Well, anyway. We have arrived. So, we're gonna go right back to it. Flashlight, helmet, back into the airlock. Once more into the breach. And let's see what we've got ourselves into now. Oh, well, right away, I'm a little bit interested because this ship appears to be in relatively good condition. You notice a lot of the damage that we've been seeing on some of the other ships is much lower here. And this also appears to be a much larger ship than what we've run into, so this might be a good starting point for us. Let's see. PDAs, fire extinguisher. Nothing terribly interesting in that bin. But yeah, this is a much larger ship. I am familiar with this model, so it's not a new design. Disposable batteries. It's entirely up to you, Bamboozle. With the new transponder mechanics, the game does kind of incentivize you more to keep the ship that you start with longer. Because you can't just, well, I mean, you can just go out there, find a better ship, and then move everything over. But the problem with doing that is you then won't be able to dock with stations because the transponder isn't registered to you. Generally speaking, I mean, you see the condition of the ship that we ended up in at the very beginning. It's not a great ship, and it's not in great condition. So yeah, we definitely want to get out of it. It's just not it's not as simple as it used to be, where you just leave one ship behind and start in another one. Oh, here we go. Here's a license. So this is also part of the reason that I didn't buy a license is you can sometimes find it. And this one is valid through 8/25 at 2300. So this license is actually valid until midnight, which means as long as we head back to the station today, we can use that license. And a toothbrush. Oral hygiene, very important when you're out in space, apparently. We are starting to see hypercapnia, so now I'll probably have to head back to the ship. Right now, you cannot tow another ship. That is on the roadmap. It's something that the devs do plan on adding to the game, but it is not in currently. We got some more pills. Alright, I'm gonna head back to the ship before we suffocate. And there is some limited pathfinding if you already know where you're going. Alright, so we'll take the helmet off, catch a breather. Let's have a look. Ah, crap. So I picked up this pill bottle and there's not anything in it. Go figure. So I tell you what, one of the other things that I need to do anyway is there was some scrap, yeah, some trash and whatnot here on this ship. Try and clean up some of this floor space. There's like all these dirty cloths. I don't need this stuff. Oh no! That's a prox warning. And we just got hit by somebody. So the AI isn't super smart, and they will occasionally just plow into you. I've had more than one run ended because I was out flying, and some guy going 600 meters per second just ran into me at full speed, and we both ended up dying. So that's 100% something that can happen. The AI does not take into account that you might be in the vicinity. More junk. I think we're just gonna drop the trash on the floor here. Yeah, bonk indeed. So basically checking the bins here. I just want to see if there's anything worth having. Oh, that's loose. That's not actually attached. Alright. So the ship isn't bad, and oh my goodness, oh my damn, here's an EVA suit. Nice. And we don't have the helmet to go with it. But an EVA suit is a huge get. And it's not damaged, or not completely damaged anyway, so we can absolutely attempt to repair that. We got another blister seal kit. We've already got a bunch of patches. I don't think we need any more. Another O2 bottle. That one's not very full, so I think we'll leave that one behind. So yeah, if we can get extra lucky and find an EVA helmet in here as well, that would be the dream. Looks like we got a lot of food here. Which, I'm not against food. Food and drink. So what, this is, I guess, the pantry? The cupboard? Depending on where you live. The hat does not look like a yellow t-shirt to me. It is little disappointing. You used to be able to restore and repair clothing, but they have since removed that from the game. And that's very disappointing to me, because, like, there are some really rare jumpsuits and shirts and stuff in the game, and unfortunately, when you find them now, if they're in low condition, then that's pretty much it. Well, as someone in a managerial position, Game Master, I don't know what to say to that, because you're effectively telling me that it's okay if I don't pay you. Which isn't a great message, but I'm also not complaining, because that makes my life a lot easier. And we're back to mild hypercapnia. Haven't found an EVA helmet, which is disappointing. Because unfortunately, without the helmet, the EVA suit doesn't do us a whole lot of good. Now, I did grab this pressure helmet because my hope is that we can repair it. And I also need to ditch that. Oh, well, first, speaking of helmets, let's take this one off before we suffocate. That would be a good start. I say that. I'm wondering if it might not be a better idea to just swap ships now. Like, I know I said that the game disincentivizes that, but at the same time, nah. We know this ship is here. We know that it's relatively empty. We don't have to take it right now. We might find something in better shape. So let me go back in here one last time. I'm gonna see if we can get lucky and find an EVA helmet that I might have missed. But I think we pretty much explored this whole ship and didn't find one. Yeah. Dang it. That's okay. The suit itself is in great condition. So, that by itself is a great find for us. If photosynthesis isn't terribly useful this far out in space. So we'll go ahead and restore the suit, for starters. We're also going to restore these oxygen bottles. And then, because our boy was trying to get himself killed repairing this battery, let's go ahead and repair the battery. And even though we won't be able to do anything with the battery right now, because we don't have a way to charge, we can at least charge it when we go back to the station. So I'm going to fast forward, and we will repair this battery. Again, we're using pretty crappy tools, so it is going to take a little bit to actually do that. That's okay. That is okay. So that was something either hitting our ship or hitting the other ship. So whenever you mouse over a chamber, you'll notice there are different... Like right now it says 34.03 kPa. That's in blue. That's telling me the nitrogen level in the room. There's also a green number that will pop up for oxygen if it's not ideal, and a red number for temperature if it's not ideal. So when you hear those little plinks, that sound of something hitting metal, that's usually a piece of space debris hitting either the ship that you're on or the ship that you're docked with. And yes, that can and does often punch holes in ships, and that can be a huge problem. So whenever I hear that noise, I immediately get suspicious. But I don't hear an air sensor going off, and it doesn't look like our oxygen levels are going down, so I think it was the derelict that got hit. I think I'll take it, Game Master. If only because, you might be able to pay your bills with a hug and a smile. I cannot. And there we go. So ship battery. And actually, we repaired it, but it already has charge, so that is outstanding. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and install this oxygen canister, even though it's not going to be hooked up to anything. And the reason that I'm doing that is because when we dock, I'll have the option to refill batteries and any canisters that are attached to the ship. Right now, the AI does not attempt to board you except for the space police. But there are like pirates and stuff, and you can go and attack them, and they can attack you if you walk onto their ship. Again, the combat was just recently added to the game, so it's not super well implemented right now. Not to mention our character is like feeble and frail and in terrible physical health, so trying to beat someone to death with a pipe is a little more complicated for someone who grew up in space. But it is possible. It's just not very efficient. So this is... What is this ship? Hold on. Back to the nav controls. So this is the singing candle. We need to remember the singing candle. And I've just now noticed that its transponder code is TATU. If you know, you know. All the things she said. Yeah, that's the weird thing about this game, is that there is a sort of artificial gravity, but it isn't very well explained. Like, the ship has gravity unless you float over, like, a hole in the floor. So I'm not sure if that's mag boots, or if that's just artificial gravity. It's never... It isn't very well explained in the current setting. Alright, so we are free. Again, I will remember the singing candle. I'm gonna try to remember the singing candle. Because it will be something that we may want to revisit in the future. And I've only just now realized... so if you notice, we're quite a way away from where we were originally. And this is part of... Remember when we got bumped? Well, now this ship is spiraling out of orbit, and we are still attached to it, so we are too. Unfortunately, because I have not undocked, or I have undocked, I don't know what our relative velocity is to anything else. So we're going to aim for this derelict. We're only moving about 280 cross to it. Yeah, the game does not simulate those elements of zero-G combat, at least not yet. I don't know if it's planned for them to do that at some point in the future, but right now the game does not go that far in its simulation. But yeah, so we have a lot of cross velocity, which I'm gonna have to burn. And actually, as much as I don't like the idea, I think we need to go back to K-Leg, because currently we don't have a lot of space left on our ship, and I do need to kind of sell the stuff that we have. So I think we're gonna head back to K-Leg. And we're gonna do that by reorienting ourselves like we always do. And we'll kill our cross velocity, and then we're gonna have to burn. Now we do still have a lot of remass, so we can get a decent amount of speed built up on our way in, but I'll need to make sure that we save enough remass that we can actually slow down. So I'm going to call it 400 meters a second. I have not read Seven Eves. In fact, I've not even heard of it. I'd be lying if I said that I did much reading these days. A lot of my career decisions in the last few years have not given me much time to read books. Digital or otherwise, unfortunately. It is something that I used to enjoy, I just haven't had a lot of opportunity for it. I think the only book series that I think I've read recently was the God, I can't think of the name now, but it's the three-body problem, that series of books. I don't remember the actual name of the series of books. So we're gonna have a little bit of a problem here getting to K-Leg because we're gonna have to fly through some derelicts. And I can't really tell what we're looking at in terms of, are we gonna hit something? I don't think, oh no, we might hit something. Okay, so I'm gonna slow us down a little bit here. And we're gonna kind of thread the needle here. I think. We might get, we're getting the prox warning. But we should not hit that ship. So I'm gonna go ahead and clear the warning. Yeah. You know, it's funny you should say that, you know, it's not really the best work, but it's an ideas kind of book. Like, I find that tends to be the case with a lot of science fiction, and especially, like, space fiction. Because I feel like so many people want to write space fiction stories, but then so few people are, like, actually educated on the intricacies of space and long-term space exposure and travel. Like, the average layperson knows so little about it. Oh no, don't sideswipe me, please. But yeah, I think the average layperson knows so little about space in general, as far as like the minutia and the science behind it, that we always want to write an interesting space book, and this is me speaking from experience as someone who tried to do that. I think everybody wants to write an interesting space book, but then so few of us actually know enough to make it interesting. Or at least that was my problem. And I started educating myself a little bit, but never got to a point where I was confident enough to continue. So we're getting a prox warning. I want to turn it off, but we're kind of in docking procedures here, so I apologize for the beeping. And there we go. We are docked. It's gonna take a second. So, I forget who it was. There was somebody that I was watching that plays Ostranauts as well. And they had this little switch. And he called this the Splattercat switch because one of the early criticisms that Splattercat had for this game years ago was that you didn't have a way to turn off proximity warnings permanently. And so the devs actually added this switch to completely mute proximity warnings as a direct result of that criticism. Yeah, well, and that's part of the reason that I gave up on it. And I think it's also part of the reason that most contemporary science fiction usually sets itself in either a fantastical version of space, like Star Wars or Star Trek, or it sets itself so far in the future that you can kind of hand wave a lot of the stuff that you don't know. But anyway, we gotta sell some stuff, and this is where we need to get into something that I'm not as familiar with because it's a relatively new thing. But I need to open the zones here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a zone. And the reason I'm gonna add a zone is because this will allow us to sell stuff on our ship without actually carrying every individual piece over to the vendor. So I'm going to set this as a barter zone, and then I'm going to close this out. And so now everything within that pink box I should be able to sell remotely from the kiosk. And we're getting our return to K-Leg message. I do have the license in my pocket, which is good, which means that we can go to the licensee station and I can trade. Because we do have a valid license in our pocket. Alright, so first things first. What are we gonna sell from here? Do I not? Okay, so the antibiotics are not worth as much as I thought. They used to be worth a lot more when they were first added. But I'm gonna go ahead and sell this tactical knife. I'm gonna sell the empty pill bottle because we don't need it. I don't think we need a t-shirt, so I'm gonna throw that out. I don't think there's anything in it. There's not. Now, what about our toolbox? It's just tools. So then we'll look at zone 1. And first things first, they don't want the damaged suit helmet. That's okay. Bulkheads are damaged. They don't want those either. Go ahead and sell the shoes since we're wearing the suit. What did the jumpsuit have in it? Just an empty pouch. Okay, so we'll sell that too. Let's see. And yeah, here we go. So almost 8K for the Polaris navigation console. So that will easily get us over the threshold that we need in order to not be in debt. So we'll be able to not only pay our bill to get out of K-Leg again, but I'll also be able to pay the debt at the end of the shift. So we'll head over to this thing, which is this is docking and refueling services. So we're going to use this terminal. And this is where you go to refill your battery, refill all your stuff, and also pay your bill so that they'll actually let you leave. So I'm going to go ahead and refill all of our batteries. I'm going to refill all the O2. I'm going to refill all the N2. Oh my, maybe not. Yeah, hold on. I didn't realize they were going to charge me $5 grand for oxygen. And RCS N2, that's a little expensive, but we need remas. And the batteries are relatively charged, but I'm going to go ahead and fill them up anyway. So yeah, the oxygen is kind of expensive, and I don't like that. But, I don't know, maybe we grab a little bit of oxygen, but yeah, it's super expensive. We'll just have to survive on what we can out in the wrecks. That was a change that I knew was coming, but it hadn't been made at the time that I played last. But yeah, it was them changing it so that oxygen is more expensive. Because before it was really cheap, but they wanted to make it more expensive so that it's a more valuable commodity. Which it looks like they have now made that change. But one thing I am going to do is I think, yeah, the EVA helmet is only 2,000, almost 3,000. So I'm going to buy that just so we don't have to find it. And that will allow us... Oh no, I just had a thought. So I may have made a mistake. In fact, I'm pretty sure I did make a mistake. And this is one of the things that you have to keep in mind whenever you play this game and you decide to use zones. So let me explain exactly what has happened. I created a zone that goes outside of our ship so that I could encompass everything inside the ship and sell it. I did not adjust that zone when I bought something. So when you buy something, it automatically goes to a barter zone. The problem is that it always starts in the top left corner, which is somewhere out here. Which means that it just dropped our EVA helmet that we paid $3,000 for out here. And that's not ideal. So I'm gonna see... I may have to sell them back the helmet. Oh, they don't even want it. God bless America. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to sell the helmet back to someone and then rebuy it from them, which is going to be a net loss for us. But otherwise, we've basically just lost that helmet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this zone. And now, when I rebuy the helmet... Oh, I can't even... So I'm just gonna throw this out here. I'm an idiot. And this is what I mean about early access. You do run into little hiccups like this. So what I have effectively done is screwed myself out of a helmet because I ended up with it in a zone outside the ship, then resold it to the licensed vendor. But the problem is you can't buy anything back from the licensed vendor. So even though I sold them the helmet, I now cannot get that helmet back. So that helmet now no longer exists. And that is unfortunate, but that's the nature of playing games in early access, is that sometimes you do things like that. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. I'm gonna put on the EVA suit, but the problem is you can't wear a backpack when you're wearing an EVA suit. But I want to see, yeah, so the problem is this EVA suit does not have anything in it. It doesn't have CO2, it doesn't have a battery, it doesn't even have oxygen. So while it's in good condition and we've restored it, we don't even have that equipment that we need to really get it done. So I'm gonna go ahead and repair this, this pressure suit. Or not. Not enough inventory space? Why can I not can I just not repair the suit anymore? Or do I not have the parts? I'm very confused right now. Oh, because there we go. The welder was in my bag, but I put the bag on the floor and it needed the welder to fix the suit, but my hands are full, so it couldn't pick up the welder. Again, early access weirdness. You get used to it after a while, but there is a little bit of a learning curve to working around the eccentricities of the interface and things like that. There we go. We've got a fully repaired suit, and while I'm at it, I might as well just do the same thing with the helmet. Unfortunately, again, weird idiosyncrasies of the game, I have to put things on the ground in order to repair them. But that's okay. We'll go ahead and get the helmet repaired. I wasn't really worried about repairing the pressure suit or the helmet because I was hoping that we would find an EVA helmet soon. But for obvious reasons, that didn't quite work out. Alright. So we're gonna get back out here, and hopefully we didn't waste so much time sitting here that we're gonna have to pay more money. Crap. Unpaid fees. So yeah, I sat here so long messing around that now we have to go and pay more fees just to get out of here. You're a good game master. If you're sleepy, go to sleep. Them's the breaks. So there we go. We paid our additional $400 to the man. And we should, hopefully, be able to leave now. There we go. Now we can get out of here. And we're gonna probably need to do that quickly because the AI is dumb and they will 100% just plow into us at high speed. So I'm gonna pick this derelict up here, and that's where we're going next. Yes, thank you, dear. So I'm gonna bring us up to about 200 meters per second. And while we're in transit, I'm gonna see if I can reorganize things in here just a little bit. Because we got, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but there is stuff like all over the floor and like busted bins and just, it's kind of driving me nuts. The ship is messy and I don't like messy. I'm not sure if it can be adjusted, Bamboozle, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think, at least for right now, the game settings are what they are. It's basically you get what you get. That's not to say that, again, the game could potentially be modded. I'm not 100% sure. But as it stands right now, no, it's kind of what you see is what you get. And I don't like it either, but that's just owing to that, that's owing to that space dystopia thing. Like, everything about it just kind of reinforces the idea that you are just a cog in a machine. And that the only value you really have, in this world at least, is whatever monetary value you're bringing in. Which, I'm sure you guys know, I don't like those types of mentalities, but that's just the setting of the game. So yeah, I'm basically just picking up all of the junk that we have all over the floor and trying to stack it up, organize a little bit, while we transit to wherever we're going. This next derelict. And we got more carbon fiber. Oops, that's not the carbon fiber, is it? Hold on, what is that? Oh, that's mechanical parts. Okay, well, excuse me. Alright, so there we go. I do want to try to repair that pressure helmet, this damaged one that we have, just so we can sell it. Hey, let's see, I guess I'll go down here. I feel like I need to strip out these bins that are damaged. Alright, there we go. But yeah, we haven't even gotten into the real dystopia stuff yet. Like, they have the space police that will just stop you and say, oh, hey, do you have a license? Oh, you don't have a license? Okay, well, that'll be a bunch of money, please. It's like, I don't have a license because I didn't have any money. How am I going to pay you money? Because, like, it's that kind of thing. It's the bank charging you money for not having enough money mentality. But yeah, I'm kind of just doing what I can to repair the parts that I see that are about to fall apart. Essentially, the more dirty and brown a part looks, the closer it is to completely breaking. So, like, I do want to repair this battery. I need to, like, bash these bins to get them off the wall so we can scrap them. But I don't have any hard... Like, I need a crowbar or something else similar that I can use to break them. Unfortunately, we have a little bit of a problem here. Oh. Go. Go! Go to the control panel. We're gonna run in. Oh god, we're gonna die! Oh, we might. We might. Let's bleed some speed, boys! While we readjust here. We got... There we go. That's a little more like it. I don't know if you guys can hear the creaking of the ship every time I move, but like I said, that's one of my favorite new additions so far. There we go. We are now docked with the Lucid Terrapin. Alright. So one thing that I need to do, and just so you guys can, like, understand what I'm looking at and what I'm thinking. So what I've noticed is right here, there's a piece of conduit that's damaged. So this piece of conduit actually goes to one of our, well, it would go to one of our thrusters if it were here, but it's not. So this thruster is gone, but this power conduit would go to that thruster if it were there. So if we can find a thruster that's functional and get a piece of conduit, then we can potentially get a third thruster working on our ship. At least that's thoughts that's going through my mind right now. Since it seems like we're going to be in this for the duration, and we're going to be in this ship for a little while, it might not be a bad idea for us to start considering how to make the ship better. We have a crate here on the ground, and there's nothing in it. So, what I'm going to do, and this seems kind of dumb, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up the crate and leave the toolbox behind. Because the crate has more storage space in it. And I'm just going to put all of our tools in there. Ah! So, you see up here, remember family, that means this is an NPC. And we can't see them, but we know they're here. I wonder if I can cheese this. Yeah, it's not going to let me see who's here. I suspect this person is probably a pirate. And I suspect this person is probably going to either try to rob us or attack us. And of course, I left my knife behind. I sold it. Also, unfortunately, this door is damaged and I don't have a crowbar, which means that I can't pry the door open and I can't bash it down. So I can't actually get in here anyway, so there's not much to be done. Which kind of sucks, because it looks like this ship is of a decent size. But yeah, I cannot get into this ship, unfortunately. So we're just gonna have to leave this one behind. But that's okay. These things happen. And there are plenty more wrecks out here for us to explore.